So, you know, when you say you are not going to take on any more leagues, and then someone comes to you and is like, hey, you know what? We start a new league. You want to join? And you're like, yeah, normally I wouldn't, but you're a friend of mine, so yeah, whatever. And that's why I can proudly present to you I have joined the Wet and Wild Draft League, commissioned or captained by two of my close friends from Draft League, Daniel K and Ducky. Um, yeah, of course I couldn't say no to those guys. We have had a lot of fun already in multiple leagues, uh, mostly in the Burnt Out Draft League together, but also in the Slow Bros Trick Room already, which I commission or moderate, whatever you want to call it. And when they came to me with, hey, we've got a league of our own, I was like, yeah, of course I'm going to join that. I mean, why wouldn't I? Um, Good things to know, this is a Gen 7 draft league, so all focused around Alola. We can only use Pokemon from Generation 7 and before that, so no Dragapods are available, no Tingloos, no Genpaus, just everything until Gen 7, OU and maybe some Ubers, but whatever. Good to note, I was second in the draft order. We were with 16 coaches, and we had 110 points, I believe, to be drafting Pokemon with. But I start. Not sure if it was 110 or 115, but it's whatever. So yeah, just do note that we can only draft Gen 7 and downward mons, and yeah, some other things will go into play. So yeah, let's just see what I drafted this league. As second pick, I had a lot of options. Only thing that was taken was the Tapu Koko, and yeah, I went for the thing that looked most promising, most broken to me in the 18-point category, which was the highest point total, and that was the Aegislash. Aegislash, aka Pahikau. By the way, if you see what nicknaming theme I have, do let me know in the comments. Aegislash in Gen 7. In the chart I have the updated for Gen 9 Aegislash, but in Generation 6 and 7 he did have 150 attack or defenses. And those 10 points really do make a difference from it. King Shield also has that broken ability that it lowers your attack stage by 2 instead of 1. So Aegislash is very, very much more broken than it is in the newer generations. Our only 6 typings against Aegislash are not resistant or immune. So Fire, Water, Electric, Ghost, Dark and Ground are the only things that Aegislash doesn't take all that well. Everything else is either resisted or immune. So Aegislash is just a broken mon with basically 150 defenses. It can take a lot of hits. In defensive form I can basically set up against most things, and with stance change I can switch my defenses to my attacking stat, getting 150 in either attack or a special attack and proceed to knock things out basically. Um, the great thing about this is that I can run both physical and special type moves, uh, but it is due noted that his physical setup is easier to accomplish than his special setup because Swords Dance is a thing and Nasty Plot is not a thing for Aegislash. Um, so that was my first round pick, and after that I had to wait 28 turns, and I wanted to start my draft after getting something broken with some crazy value picks. And the first of the two crazy value picks is Incineroar, aka Popoki. Um, First of all, Incineroar gives me incredible Intimidate support, which is always nice to have because I can lower my opponent's attack stat without having to do anything besides just just give me a minute. I have to check something. Okay, and I'm back. Great Intimidate support. Um, the worst thing that it's missing from later generations, I believe, is missing Parting Shot. Um, Something that made this thing very broken in VGC. It's a great bulky mon, 95 HP, 90 defenses is pretty solid, especially giving the Intimidate support it gets. 115 base attacks, that makes it hit incredibly hard. Only downside is his 60 speed, but yeah, if you run a bulky set, you don't gonna need that speed all that much. Other great things are his signature move Darkest Lariat that bypasses your opponent's stat changes. It gets fake out pressure. Even with 80 special attack, it can also be a special attacking set. Gets knockoff support, toxic support. I do think for just 9 points this thing was a great addition for the team. And yeah, honestly this thing is the most broken thing in VGC that ever came to be, and even knocked things like Landorus Therian off its throne. So yeah, it's a great mon to add to the roster. My next mon is a great mon on a very different note, because I also drafted Jolteon, aka Eula. Jolteon is is the pinnacle of fast electric types. 130 speed, 110 special attack. Yeah, look up spare fast electric type and you basically find a picture of Jolteon. He is also one of my two Z captains. We had 20 points to spend on Z captains, and we could use Pokemon for 12 points and below. Jolteon was 8, so that leaves me open for all other options. And I really wanted to use this because it does have some great setup options with Calm Mind. I can even use a Nasty Willow, a Wish set to boost his to regain health. It does have some great options in coverage because Hidden Power is still available to us. So Hidden Power Ice is great because it can hit those ground type Pokemon that normally would hinder it in later gens and make Jolteon a bit less viable. And Hidden Power Ice just nukes those things with 110 special attack. So I am very pleased to have yeah, I don't think it's a broken mon, but it will do a lot of damage when it's brought to a game, so I am very pleased to have it. Fourth on the table after another long period of waiting before my pick, because again, I had to wait. How much turns did I say? 28? Yeah, something around those numbers. And I was thinking, and I found myself thinking, heavy duty boots are not a thing in this generation. So far I've drafted 0 hazards and 0 removal. So I wanted a grounded poison type to get rid of toxic spikes on its own without having to click a move. And I wanted to do something to be able to set up hazards. And I came to Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen aka Mo Iwahine. And again, sorry for anyone knowing this language if I butcher it, because it's not something I usually use as a language. Yeah, so this is a grounded poison type. A bit more defensive than the Nidoking, of course. Yeah, I think this, especially in Gen 6, Gen 7, where I watched a lot of Draft League around those times, and Shady Penguin, A-Drive, all those guys, and I've seen the Nido line being used to such a great effect because it's a grounded poison type. Sheer Force and Life Orb make it a big threat, honestly, because it can hit so damn hard, just like Lando Incarnate, which was also an option later in the draft, but it doesn't get Sheer Force in this league. It has more rounded stats than the Nidoking, mainly more defensive. His or her defensive stats are higher than in the Nidoking, and the offensive stats are a bit lower. But looking at 92 attack is still a great, decent, I have to say not great, but a decent attack stat. And even 75 special attack with Sheer Force and Life Orb, still, it does a lot of damage. Ground is a great offensive typing, and Nidoqueen also gets Stealth Rocks and Toxic Spikes on her own. So not only can I remove Toxic Spikes, I can also set them up for myself. And yeah, again, hazards are a bit of a bigger hustle in this generation because no boots. Rapid Spin is still base 20, I believe, instead of base 50, which I believe they boosted it to in Gen 8. So yeah, I think Nidoqueen can be and probably will be a very great asset to the team. Just like my next pick, where the Whimsicott, Hulu. I always enjoy using Prankster mons, and this is in a generation where Prankster wasn't nerfed by the Dark type immunities for it, so this is going to be very fun to use again. This is my official first hazard removal because Whimsicott does get defog. It's a nice speed tier gap, a nice speed tier bridge between Jolteon and my lower tier speed stats. And it's a great Pokemon to annoy opponents with, mainly because of Prankster, but also just general fairy typing does great. I think for 8 points this was a very good pickup, and I do know I sniped a couple of people with it, so I'm very happy I got this little fluff ball on my team. I did not make it a Z captain because I like to use my Z moves very offensively. Jolteon is a great offensive mon, and my other Z captain is also a Pokemon that's going to be very offensive, and I feel like Whimsicott with 77 base special attack and 67 base attack won't be doing that much damage with its Z moves, so yeah, that's why I didn't make this a Z captain. Um, right now I had a fire and a grass type, of course. I had steel type Aegislash and Whimsicott as my fairy typing. So after my 5th round pick Whimsicott, I was looking at how to finish up my my course nicely. I haven't used much of my points actually. Only Aegislash and Nidoqueen were above 12 points. The Whimsicott, Jolteon and Incineroar are all 3 Pokemon that are below 10. So I had some points left to draft some high tier Pokemon, and first I completed my Fire Water Grass core with Slowbro. Lohi, the Slowbro, is a awesome mon for 13 points. It's a regenerator healer, so I can keep switching it out and heal this mon. Base 95 defense, HP 110 defense make this a great physical wall. The psychic typing does hurt it a bit, I believe, but it does have a lot of good coverage options. I can set Trick Room with it. It can be annoying with T-Wave or Toxic. For his speed stat I didn't really draft it because this thing is mostly the slowest thing on the field. It does get some momentum options with Teleport. I'm not sure if Gen 7 Slowbro does get it, but still. Should be able to learn Trick. I can give my opponents not a bad ability with Skill Swap if I like to. I can trap my opponents with Whirlpool if I like, and go for Psychic Toss kills, or at least Psychic Toss damage. Yawn is always very annoying to have to deal with again for opponents. It can set up both screens, both reflect and light screen. With 75 attack, something like Belly Drum should be on the table, which would be very fun to use if I'm able to set it up. Otherwise, Calm Mind, Iron Defense and Amnesia are also great ways to boost his already high defenses. So it may not be wild, but it is very wet, and I'm happy to have this in my roster for this season. Slowbro closed up my Fire Water Grass core. So now for my Fairy Dragon Steel core I went with Salamence. At this point I had 4 Pokemon weak to ground, and only Whimsicott as a resistance, so a flying type was much needed, or at least the ground immunity that it has. It is a awesome addition to the team because it is also my second defogger, so I have some solid options to remove hazards. It can be an Intimidate core with Incineroar if I want to run both defensive sets on them. I can be a Moxie Sweeper, and with 135 physical attack and 110 special attack, this is a great mixed attacker. So Salamence will offer a lot of depth to the squad. With 100 base speed, I have again a bridge between the Whimsicott and the Nidoqueen. The gap between Salamence and Nidoqueen is a bit steep with 24 points, but I will patch that with a later pick, as you will see in a couple of minutes, or moments actually. It's a pseudo legendary Pokemon, so great stats, and I'm very happy to have Salamence with us in this adventure. Next up is a Rapid Spin Pokemon because I didn't want to be very dependent of only being able to defog. So my Rapid Spin Mon is Hitmonlee. It's a Rapid Spinner, of course, which is already very great. Especially defensive, it's a very strong Mon with 110 special defense. And this is another bridge type in speed tiers. I now have Jolteon at 130, I have Whimsicott at 116, Salamence at 100, and Hitmonlee at 87, and the Nidoqueen at 76, H-Slash and Incineroar at 60, and Slowbro at 30, but very much down there. I don't really mind being slow and having a big gap because, yeah, why would you run speed in very slow Pokemon? That's normally Pokemon with a very low speeds that have other things they want to put EVs in, so I don't really mind that speed gap all that much. Besides it being a spinner, it does have some great abilities in Reckless and in Burden. Reckless will boost his high jump kick moves, and any self-damaging moves will be boosted by it. Or I can run Unburden sets and just double my speed stats. I can reach max 300, so going to 600 speed is incredible, and yeah, almost impossible to get close to. So with Hitmonlee, I basically had my basis, my basic team ready. I still had 21 points to spend, and so far I only have a Nidoqueen that can set up hazards, and I still was looking at a decent Z-Captain. And for 12 points, and my second Z-Captain is going to be... oh, by the way, Hitmonlee's name is Maikau. And did I tell you Salamance's nickname? Daragona. Well, at least now you know. Daragona Maikau. And my next pick is Azelf, aka Polu. Azelf gives me another hazard setter. It's a Z-Captain with a very wide move pool, so it's very hard for my opponents to predict what kind of Z-move I will be having for a battle, and makes it even harder to predict for my opponents if Azelf brings a Z-move, and if I do, what type of Z-move, because it's open Z-Captains. We don't have to declare at the start of the battle for like I bring a normal Z-Stone or anything. It's just deal with whatever your opponent has. With Levitate, I did work a bit on my ground weakness. This is my second ground immunity, and with Whimsicott being my a third resistance, I did patch up my ground weakness for a bit. 4 against 3 isn't that bad, so pretty cool with this. And a great thing about Azelf is Explosion, because getting up rocks and being able to deal damage and going out with a boom is always very appreciated by me. And after Azelf, I still had 9 points left. I didn't have a Mega Pokemon, and yeah, it's kind of not bad, but a shame if you can get a Mega Pokemon and don't do it. So I was looking at my team, what could I use? I had a bit of a Ghost weakness at this point, with 3 weak to Ghost and just 1 resistance. So I wanted to go for something like normal or dark to yeah, patch that weakness for me. And I came with a 6-point Mega Pokemon because I got Mega. Oh, that one comes later. This was a strategic pick for me because my Mega couldn't get sniped by the one that got first pick, so I wanted to be sure. I got Lapras, Olu Olu. Yeah, this Pokemon was kind of a happy mistake. Sorry, Daniel, I know you love it. Why is that? First, I had in mind I wanted to draft a Landorus Incarnate because more hazards, and yeah, I went with Azov instead because I saw Landorus couldn't be a Terra Captain. But I already told Daniel I wanted the Lapras, and when I saw Daniel's happy reaction to it, I was like, okay, I cannot not take this thing anymore after Daniel's reaction. So here we go. We have Lapras. It does have some great stats with 130 in HP, 95 special defense, and even its 80 defense is pretty strong. With base 60 speed, it's not the fastest mon on the roster, of course, but it does have the ability to set up with Dragon Dance. Water Absorb is a very nice ability against strong water types, and yeah, overall a great pick to round out my team in the end. Only left me with my Mega pick, the thing that couldn't get sniped, so I could just end the draft after I picked Lapras. I immediately told everyone, hey, this is my last mon after the Lapras, of course. And I can't get sniped at this point in the draft, so I'm dropping it and I'm calling it a day. And that is my Mega Audino, aka Mea Hula. Why Audino? First, like I said, I wanted a bit of a ghost resist or immunity, and this thing being normal and fairy gives it a ghost immunity, which is great. It does get the fairy type get rid of my fighting weakness of Audino. Gives it a steel and poison weakness, but I have enough answers for those typings to not be too bothered by it. Yeah, this thing is pretty great defensively, 103 HP, 126 in both defenses, and 60 and 80 attack and special attack are pretty workable, I believe, especially with Gold Mine setup. This thing is going to be a pain to take down. With 103 Wish support, I can heal Pokemon up very easily. And I hope I made Daniel very happy with this pick, because Lapras, I believe, is his most favorite Pokemon, and Mega Audino is number 5, I believe, for him. So, yeah, kind of sucking up to the captain there. So yeah, that's the team. Looking at my team, I do still have a bit of a ground and a ghost weakness, but those are not all that big. Like I said, ground, it has 2 immunities and a resist against 4 weaknesses. That's not that bad. Ghost does have an immunity and a resist against 3 weaknesses, so that's not that bad. Yeah, poison is kind of well rounded out, I think. An immunity and a 4 times resist against a 4 times weak and a regular weakness. Flying is 2v2, rock is 3v3, and fairy is 2v2, so Looking at my stats, I do have a couple of months with pretty high HP stats, like the Lapras, the Mega Audino, the Slowbro, the Incineroar, Nidoqueen, Salamence, all do have very decent HP stat. My attack stats, Azelf, Salamence, Hitmonlee, and Incineroar all hit above 100, and Nidoqueen coming close to it with 92. My defenses are pretty great with 150 from Aegislash, of course, and 150 in attack if it needs to be. Mega Audino and Slowbro also hit above 100. Incineroar with 90 is very good. My special attack stat is well rounded, I believe, with 110 Jolteon, 125 Azel, 110 Salamence if they need to be. Special Slowbro with 100, Mega Audino 80, Lapras 85. Whimsicott doesn't hit that hard, but I don't think that's really its role. Spadef is pretty high with Mega Audino 126, Aegislash 150 in defensive form, Hitmonlee 110, Jolteon 95, Lapras 95, 90 from Incineroar. And yeah, again, my speed stats are pretty well rounded, so I'm pretty happy with this. So yeah, this is going to be my team for this season. I think we will have a lot of fun with this team in a very fun league. So yeah, let's go for week 1. We play Cammy week 1, and I do think we will drop a video for that battle around the end of the week. So hopefully see you then. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you at the next video. Bye!